I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah. She's there to love me both day and night. Never grumbles or fusses, always treats me right. Never running in the streets and leaving me alone. She knows a woman's place is right there now in her home. I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah. Say, I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah. Oh, she's my baby. Don't you understand? Yeah, I'm a lover man. I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah. Don't you know she's all right? Don't you know she's all right? She's all right, she's all right. Oh, yeah.
Music is a world within it. love, a love to last past Saturday night, and I'd like to know it's more than love at first sight. And I want a Sunday kind of love. Oh yeah, yeah. I want a love that's on the square. Can't seem to find somebody, someone to care. And I'm on a lonely road that leads to nowhere. I need a Sunday kind of love. I do my Sunday dreaming, oh yeah, and all my Sunday scheming, every minute, every hour, every day. Oh, I'm hoping to discover a certain kind of lover who will show me the way, and my arms need someone to enfold, to keep me warm when Mondays and Tuesdays grow cold. Love for all my life to have and to hold. Oh, and I want a Sunday kind of love. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't want a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, oh, nothing but Sunday. Oh, yeah, I want a Sunday, Sunday. I want a Sunday kind of love. Oh, yeah. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday kind of love.
Cotton is high. Oh, your dad is rich and your ma is good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings you're going to rise up singing. Then you spread your wings and you'll take the sky. But till that morning, there's nothing can harm you. With Daddy and Mammy standing by.
the scene. I can give you what you want, but you got to go home with me. I forgot some good old loving and I got some in store. When I get through throwing it on you, you got to come back for more. Boys and things will come by the dozen, but that ain't nothing but drugstore loving. Pretty little thing, let me light your count, cause mama, I'm sure hard to hell and I yes around. Action speaks louder than word, and I'm a man with a great experience. I know you got you another man, but I can love you better than him. Take my hand, don't be afraid, I wanna prove every word I say. I'm advertising love for free, so won't you place your ad with me? Boys will call my dime by the dozen, but that ain't nothing but 10-cent love. Pretty little thing, let me light your count, cause mama, I'm sure hard to hell and I yes around. Baby, here I am, I'm a man on the scene. I can give you what you want, just come go home with me. I got some good old loving and I got better in store. When I get through throwing it on you, you got to come back for more. Boys will call my dime by my dozen, but that ain't nothing but drugstore love. Pretty little thing, let me light your count, called mama, I'm sure hard to hell and I yes around. Give me some good old love, some of you don't do love. I'm a big old man, mama, when I'm too hot. It's early in the morning, about 2:45. I'm sitting here talking with my baby over cigarettes and coffee. And to tell you that, dog, I've been so satisfied. Honey, since I've met you, baby, since I met you, oh, places that I've been around, and all the good-looking girls I've met, they just don't seem to fit in. No, it didn't particularly sad, yeah, but it seems so natural, dog, that you and I are here, just talking over cigarettes and drinking coffee. You know, my heart cries out, love that last I found. And honey, won't you let me just build my whole life around? And well, I compete my whole life would be, yeah, if you would take things under consideration and walk down this aisle with me. I would love it, yeah. Well, I say it's so early in the morning. Ooh, it's 2:45. We're sitting here talking over cigarettes and drinking coffee, now, Lord. And I'd like to show you where I know nothing but good old joy. love to have another drink of coffee now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Thrive 305 Kickoff Event with Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniella Levine Cava. Please welcome Michael Roan, Miami-Dade County Sergeant at Arms, to lead us in the invocation.
Shall we stand? Those that are not able to stand, we ask that you bow your heads as we prepare for prayer. Eternal God, our Father, maker and creator of this great universe, we thank you for blessing us on this wonderful day with life as we come into this beautiful place today to dialogue about the future of Miami-Dade County. Our Father, we also thank you for blessing us with a great servant leader, Mayor Daniella Levine Cava. We ask you, Lord, to place her in your storehouse of wisdom and knowledge over these 8 years as she leads Miami-Dade County, that she will continue to bring this community together for the better of all Miami-Dade County. We ask you to place your love and peace upon her and her family. We ask as she leads Miami-Dade County, she continues to lead with trust and integrity. We ask in this dialogue today that you will continue to bless all that are participating today through love and peace, that we will have a better outcome of a future in Miami-Dade County for our children and our children's children. Continue to allow her to lead in such a way, awesome way, that we will continue to live in peace and harmony, that Miami-Dade County will be a place where all of the United States and over the world will want to be like Miami. Thank you for her leadership. Thank you for her guidance through these various months. We ask that those who are speaking here today will speak truth and knowledge that will lead us to a better place on better days. Bless all that have joined here today. Bless our nurses, our doctors and firefighters, those that are on the front line of COVID. Thank you for such a wonderful place as we come here today to reverence your name. We give you honor, we give you praise. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
And now, please welcome Eagle Scout Liliana Brown of Troop 719 to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please welcome Javon Brown, senior baritone at the New World School of the Arts, to sing the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Avra Jan. Oh, I went over this. Welcome Avra Jan, board member, the Miami Foundation.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Thrive 305 Civic Week kickoff event. I'm thrilled to be joining you here this morning for the morning's program. I am a longtime local resident, founder of the Vagabond Group, and a proud member of the Miami Foundation Board of Trustees. The Miami Foundation, at my Miami Foundation, we know that communities are their strongest when residents are civically engaged. We know that Miami's most pressing issues will be solved by working with each of you collectively. We were privileged to partner with Mayor Daniella Cava and 6 other philanthropies for this endeavor. The philanthropies included the Jose Milton Foundation, the Ford Foundation, the Knight Foundation, the Allegheny Franciscan Ministry, the Shepherd Broad Foundation, and the Health Foundation of South Florida to bring you this event and the entire 305 initiative to life. This morning, you are going to hear from your leader, Mayor Daniella Cava, as she shares insights and findings from the Thrive 305 survey, which was conducted earlier this year. The survey was the largest issue-based survey ever seen within Miami-Dade County. The goal was 10,000 participants, and over 26,000 people responded. Yes. And this is due in a large part to the non-for-profits, the 60 civic partners, and 7 community data partners who helped with their community outreach to spread the word. And a big shout out to the 26,000 participants who responded to the survey, and to those of you here today and our digital audience for participating. Thank you. Thank you for caring. A little fun fact, Our mayor, 25 years ago, was a founding member of Catalyst, one of our local impactful organizations. Like the mayor, like Catalyst, Miami Foundation, our local non-for-profits, our civic partners, our funders share a vision for a more just and equitable Miami. Your mayor didn't start listening when she was elected to the county commission. She didn't start listening when she was elected mayor. She started listening a very long time ago. But today, this week, is about you, the residents, because your voices, your ideas, your concerns are going to help shape public policy. That policy which will improve individual lives, your neighbors' lives, communities' lives, and ensure a better Miami. Every night this week, county leadership, commission, mayor, local leaders will be hosting digital discussions and facilitations around the issues that matter to you most: housing, the economy, resiliency, and transit. And they want to hear from you and continue to hear from you. So be sure to log in to thrive305.org to register and be heard. A few housekeeping items. This is a socially distanced event, so be mindful of your neighbors around you, and please keep your mask on, except for when you're obviously eating. Your patience and your support of masking up is always appreciated. For those of you here today, this is going to be a robust discussion, and for those of you online, so please fill out your card with any questions or priorities so that you can participate in today's ongoing discussion. And for those of you online, if you put your questions on hashtag Civic Week, you will also be included in part of the conversation. And don't forget later today at 3 o'clock, our friends from Engage Miami will be part of a kickoff hosting Civics 305, a how-to guide on where to go, what to say, and how best to engage with your local government. Processing change takes time and it's ongoing. Stay engaged, participate, continue to be heard. So lastly, today, this will be recorded and be translated into both Spanish and Haitian Creole. Be on the lookout for those recordings on the website, thrive305.org. So let's do this. It is my distinct honor and pleasure, on behalf of the Miami Foundation and our CEO and President, Rebecca Fishman-Lipsey, to welcome to the stage our very own Mayor Daniella Levine, Cava.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abra. Beautiful introduction. Thank you for everything you do. All right. Well, I am very excited for today, and we're going to kick it off with a little video presentation. Take it away. what a year it has been. Wow. We are so ready to turn the page. We're almost there. It is wonderful to be with all of you today to kick off this great first ever Civic Week. Thank you. Last time I was at the Arsht was for my installation in November. Some of you were there with me. I'm very, very proud to serve as your county mayor. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And on that day, I promised that I would listen to our residents and engage always. And here we are, Thrive 305. We can tackle our shared challenges, and we can find solutions. That's what Thrive 305 is all about. And I want to thank all of our incredible partners and sponsors, the Miami Foundation, that's been our operating partner, and all of these great philanthropists who stepped up to make it possible. We salute you, we thank you for your leadership, for your vision, for your commitment. This is the largest civic engagement initiative in the history of Miami-Dade County. We've not had a public engagement process for county government since 2008. And obviously at that time it was not as expansive as this great effort. We reached out with a survey and we got responses that are going to guide what I do in the future as your mayor and what our administration tackles to improve quality of life for everyone here in Miami-Dade County. We had a representative sample, statistically valid sample of respondents. We went to great lengths to do that, and according to the US Census estimates, we reached 3,600 people through our canvassing operation, which was very labor-intensive, door-to-door, with dozens of community partners. They went out to neighborhoods like Alapata, Little Haiti, Little Havana, Liberty City, Olympia Heights, Homestead, and Opelika, countywide, to make sure that we could get input from people regardless of their access to the internet, regardless of their engagement with county government. We also, these are some of our team members who went out and knocked door to door. So let's give them a big shout out. They were excited. They were on fire. Maybe you saw them at farmers markets or all around town. Thank you. And we wanted to be sure that we got truly diverse feedback. And like most surveys, this did also take a snapshot in time like the US Census, but it did much more than that. It asked people to look into the future and say what they wanted to see their county look like, what they wanted county government to do for them. So the information that we got from this survey is truly going to transform the future of Miami-Dade County. This is data that was not available anywhere else, but for the investments that all of you made, our funders, our canvassers, we would not have been able to collect this actionable data. So this is how we're going to go forward with the data. You'll see changes in county government thanks to this input. Our providers, our residents, our businesses have all stepped up to the plate and helped us understand the community that we are and the community that we want to be. In just 3 weeks, almost 27,000 people took the survey. Yeah. That is about 1% of our population in Miami-Dade County. So truly landmark information. And not only that, many, many more also contributed but didn't get all the way through. So we have collected 1.2 million responses. So it is unprecedented, but it's only a beginning. We are going to take these results, we're going to share them with the public. All 100 plus slides are going to be posted on the thrive305.org website, and we are going to continue to interact with the public from this day forward, as Reverend Roan said, for the next 8 years. So we're going to share with you some of the key takeaways, so now let's dive in. Thank you, Reverend Roan. Okay, what happened? Okay, here was a key takeaway. Before the pandemic, there was a survey conducted by the Miami Foundation asking about priorities. The Ben Dixon firm, Armandi Ben Dixon, took the survey, and parks was rated the least important of the county services at that time. So think about that. I guess that was before March of 2020. Oh yes, January. How little they knew. So now our survey shows that in fact, parks are top 3 of priorities in Miami-Dade County, right? One of 3 priorities for infrastructure in Miami-Dade County, because the world has changed. So this signals not just a momentary change, but actually a lasting change in behavior. People want to get outside. They want to be safe. They want to recreate. They want to enjoy our beautiful spaces. And that's what Thrive 305 shows us. Fully a third of our community rated access to parks and recreational spaces as their most beneficial long-term public health strategy post-pandemic. How many of you have been going outside more? Right? I remember when you couldn't even buy a bicycle. No bikes for sale. So definitely our behaviors have changed. And we all know that this is not only good for pandemic to be outside, and by the way, we just changed the COVID-19 guidelines, and if you're outside 10 feet distance, you can take off your mask. A little applause, please. So not only is it good for pandemic era, it's good for our health always. And thank goodness that we got that message, because there is no place like Miami-Dade County for beautiful places to recreate. So we are so blessed with 2 national parks and a wonderful public park system, and we'll hear later from Maria Nardi, our Director of Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces. Thank you. Okay. Also, our other health priorities have been reshaped by COVID. We saw interesting diversity in our residents' key needs during this crisis. So, for example, our Hispanic residents ranked COVID testing as the most needed service. Nothing we would have considered, obviously, a year ago or more. And Haitian residents said they needed more PPE, protective equipment. Such a funny word for masks, but yes, needed more PPE. And these insights will help us better allocate resources in the future and make sure that we do not leave any communities behind when it comes to access to basic health services. And so here's another very critical point. For those 18 years of age and under, so our young people, and we have quite a few young leaders here today, mental health services was ranked the most important resource, while telehealth was #1 for individuals aged 85 and older. Something we could not have anticipated, and something that truly needs to guide our efforts going forward. So our survey has painted a very clear picture of Miami-Dade County's digital divide as well, because everything has gone online. Here are our seniors asking for more telehealth. But also for commerce, for education and employment, we know that virtual access is key. And here we find a key fact that for our seniors, 28% of them do not have access to internet or computer at all. And when you look at seniors in our most vulnerable neighborhoods, Little Havana, Little Haiti, Overtown, they don't have access 70% of the time. So our seniors are being left behind in this digital age. So we know that internet connectivity is no longer a luxury. It's clearly a critical part of our infrastructure. And this data clearly shows that we must prioritize greater investment in access to the internet and digital resources. We must think creatively to overcome these barriers. And we have launched, again, together with the Miami Foundation, Connected Miami, an effort to bring internet to more young people. And using our American Rescue Plan dollars, we are also going to prioritize access to the internet. The pandemic not only affected our lives and our health, it affected our livelihoods. We all know that. And especially hard hit are our mom and pop small businesses throughout the county. Many closed their doors, many have lost their life savings, families have struggled to make ends meet, so many lined up for food distributions every day, all over the county. And there remains a palpable economic insecurity for so many of our residents that we must address to resume our strength in our community. So building back from this crisis presents us with a rare opportunity to not just build back, but to transform our entire economy from the ground up and create new opportunities in the new economy, things that never existed in Miami-Dade County before. So let's take a look at what some of the community economic priorities are. Residents believe that a key roadmap for economic recovery is helping large employers to relocate. So we're doing that. We're having a rush on new businesses locating here, and we need to double down on those efforts. We need to bring these new jobs into our economy, while we're also propping up our local businesses and mom and pops and making sure that these new businesses lift up those who are living here today, not just the newcomers. And we also have to focus on job apprenticeship programs. And we're joined here today by Rick Beasley from CareerSource, and we were talking just before starting today that we're going to double down on some apprenticeship programs that are in the pipeline and internships as well. These are the critical things, especially that the younger adults are telling us are important. And by the way, while we're doing it, we have to invest in renewables and reducing our carbon footprint. Investing in public transit so people can get where they need to go without polluting the environment. We need greener building codes for our residents and for our businesses. And we have the Building Efficiency 305 program here in Miami-Dade County that's just beginning to take hold. So we need to double down on programs that diversify our economy while also tackling climate impacts. So we're going to invest in pipeline training. We're going to bring mentorship programs, and we're going to bring in new opportunities, especially with the dollars coming through the American Rescue Plan, to invest in workforce training and green jobs. Housing, we all know, is a pain point for us here in Miami-Dade County. It has been for a while as the cost of living has gone up, and unfortunately salaries have not kept pace. And especially for our African American community, our biracial residents, and our younger people, housing has been named the most important county service. And I believe we're joined here today by Mr. Michael Liu of our Public Housing and Community Development Department. All right, I think they're applauding to show the importance of your work, Mr. Liu. And for Generation Z residents, I understand that's the 18 to 25-year-olds, affordable housing is really key to their survival here, and we don't want to lose them. We can't afford to have a brain drain. We need to house our younger residents as well. By contrast, public safety is the top priority for other groups, and we'll touch on that more in a minute. We are in the process of building 14,000 affordable units. But it's not enough. Much, much more must be done, and we must preserve the housing stock that we have. And let me do a shout out here for Miss Avra Jane, who is doing a fabulous job with creatively financing affordable housing for the workers in this community, including her own. Thank you, Avra. But when we talk about affordable housing or housing that people can afford, it's not just about rentals, right? People need to buy homes in order to build their wealth. That is the most important piece of equity. Basically, we need to have equitable equity in our community. So one of the best tools that we have, especially for closing the wealth gap with the Black community, which is severely affected, is investment in first-time homebuyer programs, expanding community land trusts that keep housing affordable, and reforming our county surtax program so we can support more homeowners. And this cuts, thank you. Can I hear an amen? All right. So right now, Miami-Dade has about $18 million in surtax dollars available for home ownership assistance. Not enough. And we're going to be getting finally some dollars from the state through the Sadowski Act, and we need to fight, we need more. So my office is moving forward with plans to increase the availability of these housing dollars and activate the funds in an equitable way that will lift up all of our communities. Public safety. Number one, we have to protect our residents, and we have some real challenges. And here we are with Police Director Freddie, here I am with Police Director Freddie Ramirez launching the new autism car. Just one of the creative ways that our police department is reaching out to the community. I'm so very proud of our law enforcement men and women who have stepped up to the plate like never before during this incredible pandemic, and our firefighters who've been on the front lines too. Let's give them a big round of applause. So the solutions for safety may vary by neighborhood or by demographic. For individuals 25 years and older, the overwhelming consensus is that public safety must be a top priority. How about that? And the best way to advance it is by investing in neighborhood improvements. So, how do we keep people safe? We have neighborhoods that are safe and are invested, not disinvested. And 58% of our residents believe that making neighborhood safety improvements like better street lighting, fixing vacant lots, dilapidated structures is the most important, while Black residents in particular feel that preventing violence should be our top priority. So when asked whether or not Miami-Dade County is a safe and secure environment, Black residents were less likely than others to answer yes. So we have a real gap here that we must address. Transit, another critical topic. We need to have world-class transit to be a world-class destination, and we need to have choice transit to get people out of their cars. Thank you. The only way to solve traffic is transit. Here you see some of the new vehicles on their way. Which of the following would be most likely to encourage you to use transit? All right, so you can see here, purple, feeling safer, less expensive fares, more reliable, where I need to go, where I want to go. Those are the biggest areas, the blue and the green. Basically, people overwhelmingly said that if there were services that would take them where they want to go, when they want to go, not just to work and school, which obviously is critical, but also to the beach, to parks, to shopping, they would use more transit. So we must redouble our efforts on the SMART plan, that's our transit expansion program, and our better bus network, improving our bus routes, and focus on more transit-oriented development to get people closer to key transit corridors as well. And finally, my favorite topic, and why we are all here together today, engagement. You may remember in my State of the County, we addressed equity, environment, economy, and engagement. This perhaps is the most fundamental because it really showcases how we can move forward together. 46% of our residents don't feel that they can influence county decisions that directly impact their lives. Okay, that's despite voting, despite whatever opportunities we have. They do not feel that they can participate. And it is fully within our power to change this dynamic. You all feel you have a voice. Someone said, why is this crowd so optimistic? Right? Are you optimistic? Yes, because you know that we are listening. You have a voice. And we have the power to make more people understand that that is the case and that we want to hear and learn from them. So one of the things that has happened in this pandemic is we've gone virtual. So many people are participating virtually in ways that they haven't before. And even though we know that accessibility is challenging for those who do not have access at home to the internet, we've made our libraries more accessible. We've done other things, and we must do more to make this not just a luxury, but a basic necessity of life. And so we are going to be working hard to do that, just for jobs, economy, daily life, but also to participate more actively in government. And we must find ways to enhance access to government through these virtual channels, and we will. To me, the most inspiring finding of this whole enterprise was that 65% of our respondents want to engage more with government. They want to be part of setting budget priorities. They want to have a voice. This is a mandate for me. It's a mandate for all of us. We must find ways to help, especially young people who want to step up and be part of the solution. So it's within our power. We can do it, and we will do it. Okay. We will develop from the bottom up, not from the top down, because, thank you. Because the people who live and work here are the stakeholders. You're the ones that pay your taxes, you're the ones that vote in the elected officials, and we must treat you as the customer, and we must listen to you. And that is my plan as your mayor. Today is just the beginning of Civic Week, and it's just the beginning of our engagement. So we hope that you'll join with us virtually all week long at these different forums in these different venues to learn more and go deeper into the information that we have gleaned from the public and to ask more critical questions about the things that are on your mind and that we could use to move our community forward. So please join us on Monday for health and public safety, Tuesday, housing and economy, Wednesday, transit and environment, Thursday, trust and responsiveness in county government. I am excited to join you in all of these conversations. Please tell your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, the people you see in the grocery store. Please tell them we want to hear from them to learn together how we can thrive. And we will be culminating this whole week next Saturday with an art project by the wonderful activist, artist, Xavier Cortada, who is going to do a collaborative collage fusing and melding the public input. So your answers to what does a thriving Miami-Dade County look like to you will be part of this great art installation, which will take place right here at the Arch Center next Saturday. You can learn more about all of this at thrive305.org. I'd like to take a moment to just say thank you, thank you, thank you, merci, gracias, every language possible, for all of you who've participated, for all of you who have driven this conversation, and especially the workers behind the scenes who have put all of this information together for you in a way that can bring it to life. I want to please ask that you would stand if you were part of pulling this program together today so we can acknowledge you and your hard work. Please stand. Okay, looks like they're still behind the scenes because they're not standing. But it's truly been a labor of love for my staff and for our partners, and we thank you. We love you. Together, we will build a healthier and stronger Miami-Dade County. Thank you so very much. So now it is my pleasure to invite up to the stage a dear friend and an awesome communicator. That would be Tony Lesane, and he is going to assist us in the next part of the program. And here is the panel of experts who are with us in the audience to be part of the Q&A. So thank you so very much to this incredible group of experts, both within county government and beyond, who are here to dialogue and answer your questions.
All right, am I live? We're at the Performing Arts Center, so you'll hear me anyway. Good morning, everybody. Okay, this is 305, guys. Let's do it right. Good morning, everybody. There you go. That's how we do it. You know, we've been locked in, and we know how to behave, and I know that we're not going to do what those visitors did on South Beach, right? We learned. We were like, that was not us. That was not us. All right, but we learned. Let's give it a round of applause for our amazing mayor again.
Thank you.
Before we get into some quick housekeeping, I want to identify some of our elected officials in the House today. This morning, El Portel Mayor Omar Nickerson is here. There he is, right there. Opelika Vice Mayor Veronica Williams is right there. Surfside Vice Mayor Tina Paul is, where did she go? Tina? That way. Little quick housekeeping. The mayor and I will be answering questions directly from you guys, the live audience, from the social media using the hashtag, as she said earlier, Thrive305, and questions I prepared myself. If you're in the audience, you can write your questions and give them to the ushers. They have the Thrive 305 shirts like Susan has right there, so you can send them to them. Now, the mayor and I would not be wearing masks on stage. We've just been tested for, I've tested negative for coronavirus. The mayor has recovered from COVID, thank God, and has been vaccinated, like many of us are continuing to do. All right? So we were cleared. We were cleared to have no mask by Miami-Dade's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Peter Page. We will, however, as much as I love being close to our awesome mayor, will be socially distanced from each other, and you guys are required to keep your mask on and keep socially distanced. All right. So you guys ever heard "We the best"? You ever heard that? Okay. For those of you under 40. All right. DJ Khaled would say, "We the best." Yes, we are. 305. It's rocking. The country always watches us. All right. We've got the best beaches. We've got the best parks. We've got the best weather, and we've got you all. We've got the best people in this room right here. So Civic Week is amazing. It's an amazing idea. The mayor and her team has hit the ground running. I want to make sure that we do a shout out to her team. She's put a dream team together, and I mean, I love racing. So it's sort of like watching a crew pit jack up a car and get it ready for the race again. Watching them, it's just a work of art. Civic Week, as she mentioned already, goes throughout the week. This is an unprecedented initiative. Anytime you can get 1.2 million responses, who does that? Okay, and then finally we have to make sure that we understand that it's up to us to move it forward. But don't you think in a relationship, we're talking about engagement. It wouldn't be cool in engagement that you could spend a lot of time surveying your partner before you move on to a marriage? You guys, you're not liking that, all right? Surveys, they work, ask. But we got those kinds of responses, and so we want to make sure that we are going to move forward on the takeaways, all right? For those of our community that don't have social media, there's 17 sites during the week that they can actually go to in every part of our county, so we can touch everybody. So we're really looking forward to that. Okay, so shall we dive in now? You guys ready? All right, let's do it. Is it Madam Mayor? Is that how it works, guys? Madam Mayor? Sounds so formal.
That's what they say.
Okay. So, Madam Mayor, let's jump in with some questions. Can we do that?
Please, Tony.
Okay. So, one of the questions was when asked how to create a safer community, there was a split between, as you noticed, making neighborhood improvements and investing in public sources like fire, police. Now, these are two different areas, but do you believe that these two can intersect one another? And if so, how?
Oh, absolutely, Tony. I think it's great that we got that feedback because people want their law enforcement to be visible. They want them to be on the street. They want to feel safe. They want to know when there's a crime that can be solved. So people recognize the value of law enforcement. And they also know that when they live in neighborhoods or they're in neighborhoods that look like nobody's been taking care of them, that's a magnet for crime. So people know that, one broken window leads to more broken windows, that phenomenon, and we need to make sure that our neighborhoods are respectful of the people that live there, and that will do a lot to make sure that people behave themselves in those neighborhoods and we don't attract people who want to exploit the residents.
Outstanding. So bringing in new business is a priority for residents. We know that. We know that when it comes to the economy, that's so important. But what are some of the things that you can do to bring new businesses to our community? I mean, leaders around the country are asking that same question in every city. How can we bring more business to our given city or our region? And it's a competition like everything else. So how can we ensure that the opportunities that come here will be accessible to all of our residents?
Well, first of all, we're pretty popular these days. Have you noticed? People want to be here. They figured out that we are paradise, and if you can work anywhere, why not live in the place where you work? So many people have flocked to our beautiful weather, our beautiful environment, and we welcome them. We roll out the welcome mat. So we need to make sure that they don't just come for a little while, but they actually stay and bring their good jobs with them and their investments. And we're doing that. And we're working on an initiative called Renew 305. And we're joined here by Mike Finney, the head of the Beacon Council, who is helping us to lead up that effort. Thank you so much, Mike. And we also have Susan Amat, who is with, what is the name of your great organization, Susan? Global Entrepreneurship Network. Does that sound good? Jen? Okay. So she is advising us as well how we can attract. We need to scale up. We need to start up. We need to scale up. And we need to move in. So we've got all of it covered. And we just want to be sure that when we do it, it's good for our residents. We do not want these newcomers to push aside the talent that we have, the entrepreneurship that we have. And we want it to work in a beautiful way to lift up and create pipelines for our residents.
There you have it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. This question, and we're going to be pivoting, and by the way, guys, I'll be getting cues from folks on the team in case things change in real time or questions and so forth, so I'll be kind of drifting over to the side there to make sure I get my cues right to get the information you need, because we're learning and we're growing, and I love it from the bottom up. That's amazing. Questions from Kawania Gibson. Kawania Gibson. What measures are in place to address the going housing crisis in Miami-Dade County, which you acknowledged, and so did the survey? And when will the increase in affordable housing be accessible to the working class people here in Miami? Huge question, and I'm glad we have Annie here. Annie here.
Yeah, let's turn that over to Annie. What can we do? What are we doing, Annie? This is Annie Lord.
Annie Lord.
Executive Director, Miami Homes for All, one of our incredible community partners, and we also have Michael Liu, as I mentioned, from our County Public Housing Community Development. Thanks, Annie.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and it's great to see all of you and to be so inspired by the survey. And it's the number one question I think about every day, which is how are we going to dramatically increase the amount of homes that are affordable to the people who live and work here. And I think that, just as a frame, no pun intended, but Miami Homes for All, along with many partners, including Mr. Liu and Public Housing and Community Development Department, we published the Miami-Dade Affordable Housing Framework last year, and the number I want you to hold in your mind is that we need 210,000 affordable homes by 2030 in order to meet the full need of our county. It's a very large number, but I don't want us to be afraid of that number. That number is where we need to root ourselves so that we truly pursue solutions that will have major impact and will very quickly ramp up our production and also the preservation of affordable homes. Fortunately, I think there are new resources that are coming or that are promised from the federal government, and there are resources. Fortunately, our county has been fairly progressive in thinking about how are we going to pay for things like this. But I also want us to begin to think, about what is that really going to take? And that is not an easy question to answer. There's a community discussion that should happen. But especially in light of state resources that are, not being put towards their intended use, which is for affordable housing. I think that we have to do what we have always done in Miami-Dade, which is to recognize that we are not an island, but we have to solve our problems ourselves. And that means we have to do we have to have the hard conversations, we have to do the hard things. So I don't want to get out too over the skis here, but
Well,
yes.
Annie, if I could, we're putting together some housing roundtables, so stay tuned to discuss bold ideas, how we can utilize those dollars most effectively, and we'll look forward to taking everybody's input as we move forward.
And thank you so much for all of your leadership, Mayor.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you.
Excellent. And everybody knows that these solutions are not going to come easy. If it was easy, we'd all be, perfectly fit and perfectly smart and all that stuff. It's not going to be easy, but everybody in the room here cares about our community. That's what we all have in common. We love our community. We have other options. And so that's going to be, none of these solutions are going to be easy, and most of them, Mayor, won't be quick, will they?
Well, I don't know. We're moving pretty fast here. No, it will take some time. But we are looking for ways to accelerate building projects, ways to cut red tape, ways that we can bring partners to the table more quickly. We want to get it done.
Perfect. Now I'm going to, and for those of you who don't know, I'm Tony Lassane. I'm co-founder of the Lassane Media Group. We've been in this market for almost 30 years in media and film and video production. Know almost everybody in the room. I love all you guys. You know that. And I am also the president of the Black-Owned Media Alliance, a group of almost 20 media outlets reaching about 2.5 million per month, and also a co-founder of the Southern Automotive Media Association. For those of you guys know, I do test drives and all that good stuff, highlighting South Florida on the roads, and so we're
so
co-founders of that.
So that's why you know about being in the dugout, right?
The crew pit, the pit crew.
Oh, sorry.
The pits, gotta get her there. So that's my introduction, guys. You can always follow us on Autofocus or whatever, but or InFocus TV online. But for the introduction of our panelists who are amazing, I'm going to Annie Lord, who you just heard from right there. All right, give her a hand.
Yay. Tony?
Oh, there we go. And let's see, I'm seeing a little note here. Some questions coming in, so I'll look out. Absolutely, questions coming in from social media, which is great. That's beautiful. Carlos Cruz Casas, Assistant Director, Miami-Dade Transportation and Public Works. Is Carlos here? If so, raise your hand. We've got David Clodfelter, Director, Miami-Dade Office of Management and Budget. We've got, there he is, over there. Frank Guyamire, Assistant.
Guyamire.
There he is. Forgive me. Assistant Director of Strategic Planning, Department of Transportation and Public Works. All right. And I'll be keeping an eye out for that. Let's see. George Perez, MD, PD, Chief, Miami-Dade Police Department. I saw him earlier. There he is. Makes that uniform look good, bro. That's the way to do it. James Murley, Miami-Dade County Chief Resilience Officer. There he is. All right. Janice Shop, VP Operations and Strategy, Health Foundation of South Florida.
Yay,
there she is over in the corner. JD Patterson, Chief Public Safety Officer, Miami-Dade County. There he is. I got a few more. We packed the deck this morning. Judge Stephen Leifman, Miami-Dade County.
Where's Judge?
Where's Judge?
There he is.
There he is. There he is. You mentioned Maria Nardi, Director, Miami-Dade Parks, Recreation.
Yay,
Maria. There she is, Maria. Michael Finney, my friend. Good to see you, Michael. CEO, Beacon Council. Beautiful. Michael Liu, Director, Miami-Dade Department of Public Housing and Community Development. Where's Michael? Michael, the hardest working man in show business right there. Morris Copeland, Chief Community Service Officer. Morris. Hey, Morris, good to see you. Shan Patel, Chair, Board of Directors, the Transit Alliance.
Yay.
All right. Susan Amat, all right, there she is, founder, and also Venture Hive as well, you're the CEO there. Samaria Hudson, Principal, CEO, Chapman Partnership. There's Samaria right there. Yoka Arditi Rocha, Executive Director, Clio Institute. All right, so.
And Port Director Juan Carrillo is in the house.
Juan Carrillo. Yeah.
And Alejandro Parhus, with Deputy Director, Department of Transportation and Public Works. Thank you.
There he is.
All right. Oh, and we have our Chief Finance Officer, Ed Marquez, as well.
Where's Ed?
Thank you, Ed.
All right.
All right. And George Andrews, our Senior Advisor for Policy and Planning. And the lady who led this effort, our Senior Advisor for Innovation and Performance, Rahel Welda Jesus.
Yes.
All right.
Rahel is a force of nature in the best way possible. She's making it happen. I love it. All right, so we're going to jump back into some of the questions, shall we?
Yes,
and this one, Tissa McGee. Hi, Tissa, wherever you may be. Okay, there she is back in the back. While this data supports some of what we already knew, what is the actual best way to move forward with these priorities? And what can we do, all of us here, to support your move?
Wow, thank you so much, Tissa, and that's Dr. McGee, and for all of you who are here today and who want to be part of making Miami-Dade County stronger and better. You all represent individual organizations or cities and different groups, and we need you all to step up on each of these issues. And you know, I'm a very collaborative person. Maybe you heard collaboration is my middle name. So we'll be turning to you for help with each of these areas, but don't be shy. Don't wait to be asked. Step up. Tell us what you think are the answers and how you can contribute. And we will set benchmarks. We have, as part of our Office of Innovation and Performance, we have a focus on benchmarking, transparency, letting the public know where we are, where we need to go, and how we get there. So we want to be reporting back, and we're going to need your help to engage.
The numbers and the response from the survey was amazing. And it had to catch you off guard. And there were many of them that probably surprised you. But which one, was it the parks? Which one really caught you like, I didn't see that coming?
Well, first of all, I challenged everybody to get us that 27,000 mark. They said it couldn't be done. So let's just be clear, right? It ties into the appetite for being heard, the appetite for being involved. That is clearly, we all know what the challenges are, but it was really helpful to dig down in different neighborhoods and different demographics to see where the priorities were. For some, safety is about the neighborhood. For some, it's about having more people on the street patrolling. But everybody cares about safety. Everybody cares about the economy. But for young people, they were saying they need more apprenticeships. We know that. But hearing it from young people was very powerful. So I think all of that nuance by area is really critical, and we want to meet people where they are and help them see real progress.
Perfect. Now the questions are starting to flow in, and we see them, and as they do from social media, we will be sharing them accordingly. But this one is from Sophia Nesbull. I hope I said that right. All right. And she mentioned that she would like to ask the question live, because on your card you can check whether you want to ask it live or not. So we'll be asking you to come on up to the microphone. The ushers will help you. So Sophia, as we move through these, be prepared, okay? And so I won't read her question. I'll let her do that herself.
There's one on here, too.
Yeah, there you go. All right, but in the meantime, there's a question from social media coming in from T. George on Twitter. And Mayor Daniella, what can be done to prepare individuals in the community who aren't college material, which is a big piece here, all right? Who aren't college material for jobs that don't require a college degree? How do we prepare those? And I see some amazing workforce people in the house here who also understand this.
Yes, I think this is so critically important. We have so many jobs that are not exportable, jobs like building things, like repairing things. And we are still, what is it, the state bird is still the crane, so we are still building, people are still coming, and we need people. We're always at a shortage for skilled workers. We have great apprenticeship programs, but we need to expand them, and we need to get to young people sooner while they're in school, high school, to keep them engaged. They can start working in the summer. They can start with paid internships. So there's a lot that we are going to be developing, these pipeline careers, and we're going to be working with CareerSource to get the word out. And working with our public school system too, to make sure that young people see those opportunities and see the future. Perfect. Tech, by the way, is also a pipeline. And for example, the Knight Foundation just invested millions in the FIU and University of Miami to enhance engineering and technology. And we can reach out to young people, we can show them a pathway to get into those programs. For those who are college ready, fine, and for those who can go for training without college, we have both pathways.
Mayor, I wanted to offer a couple of additional comments, if you don't mind. There are some immediate opportunities that young people can take advantage, in fact, anybody can take advantage of. The mayor referenced FIU. Both Florida Memorial and FIU currently have construction trades programs that are being partially funded through the private sector and through government. Lennar, the big construction, one of the largest home builders in the United States, is actually one of the sponsors in partnership with the Miami Dolphins. And so those two universities have construction trades programs that are available right now. And I would encourage you to reach out, and it's also being done in partnership with CareerSource. We have, in partnership with CareerSource and several others, Dean Automotive Group, Warren Henry Automotive Group, active programs for automotive trades and skilled trades and technicians. All available, active programs ready to go. And I know CareerSource, in partnership with the Carrie Meek Foundation, is looking to launch an aerospace apprenticeship program. So there are a lot of opportunities that are available for folks who don't want to pursue a college career. And it's not stuff that's going to happen years from now. It's stuff that's available right now. And I would encourage you, as a first point of reference, is to reach out to CareerSource. They are active at it. And then Florida Memorial, FIU, they have wonderful programs that can help in the construction trades.
And if I can also add, Miami-Dade College also has a number of programs, including automotive apprenticeships. So Miami-Dade College, our local community college with 8 campuses, really does such incredible work to support. So look at that as well as another option.
Right.
Yeah, I should have mentioned, Miami-Dade College is also, they're participating in the Lunar Construction Trades program. So President, I know I missed that one, but Miami-Dade College is also involved.
And if I can add a third comment.
Right.
And one of the things that we saw about the survey was that the majority of our young respondents was interested in clean energy and green jobs. And so in Florida, solar installations and wind turbine technicians have been one of the fastest growing sectors in the job market, not only in Florida, but around the country. And so those are the kind of good paying jobs that we need to transition our polluting-based economy into a clean, renewable, sustainable, non-polluting economy. So there's a lot of great opportunities there as well.
One last fourth.
Wait, over there. Yeah, go ahead. There we go.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention the South Florida Anchor Alliance effort, which has brought the county, the cities, our hospital institutions, our educational institutions, the school district together. And I think I mentioned that effort because one of the key activities that they have engaged in is assessing those job opportunities that they have available for which there would not be that college degree requirement. How do we get people quickly into these pipeline programs at these anchor institutions, which are our largest employers? And so I think part of what we need to think about is how do we make it easy and accessible for our residents to know where those job opportunities are, and we're trying to make that a one-stop shop resource. So again, South Florida Anchor Alliance, and that's something that all of our major institutions in the county have been working on.
Excellent.
Now, we're following a sort of an itinerary, but we've got so many amazing people here, so we do want to mix it up. We want you guys to make sure that if you've got these questions, we want to make sure that live, come up to the microphones and make this happen. So we will be shifting from us and, of course, our panelists and so forth. If you guys, like you did, jump in where you need to, but we want to keep it moving as much as possible. You've heard CareerSource a couple of times over and over again, so I think I would be remiss if I did not recognize Rick Beasley of CareerSource right there. Totally busy making things happen. So we're going to keep it moving here. I've got another question, and by the way, after our mayor answers, if you have something to pop in on that can add to the discussion like we've been doing, please do add so. We've got Ernie Gomez, okay, President, CBBA. Ernie, you there? There he is in the back. So his question is, Dear Madam Mayor, do you have any plans in supporting vocational programs like HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and hands-on training in particular? This is to support construction, the construction industry, which is suffering to find qualified workers. And Ernie, it sounds like you know.
Well, I am passionate about this topic and have been exploring with our county staff how we can incorporate more apprenticeship programs right into our own county government, but also working with labor organizations and others that have those training programs and the pipeline. So, you've heard here a commitment to make sure that information is more accessible, and that is a key part. We have a lot of things going on, but it's very difficult in our community sometimes to get that right information. So we're going to be working on communications, transparency, access, communicating. And anybody?
Okay, then let's keep it moving. Michelle Shirley, if you are in the house, please come to the microphone as we get ready to continue to move on. I'm going to ask this question from Al. All right, now Al says, what 3 things can the business community, which is many of us here today, what can the business community do? 3 things to help distressed, marginalized, and underutilized communities to grow, prosper, and thrive. Now I know this is something that you've really taken to heart. What can the business community do to help reduce the surge in violence? So it's a two-part question. One is how to help grow, prosper, and thrive, and the second one is to reduce the surge in violence.
You know, we have to be really deliberate about how we develop communities. We need to develop communities that are mixed income. We need to develop communities that have access to services, communities closer to jobs. There are just so many ways that we can be planning more holistically. And that's part of why I brought our resilience office into the mayor's office. And actually, I'd be thrilled if Jim Murley, our chief resilience officer, who handles environmental but all kinds of resilience, could comment a little bit about this.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Yes, resilience is much broader than just preparing for the next hurricane or dealing with climate issues. It's preparing our communities for shocks and stresses that could occur. We didn't expect a pandemic. So, you know, those are the unexpected events that we need to prepare for by working throughout our intergovernmental with our 34 cities and with our civic organizations at the neighborhood level to prepare them. And I think there's all sorts of tools available that you've asked us to look at, and it'll come from hearing from the residents. For example, in the Little River area, Madam Mayor, as you know, we're focused very intensely on how we can work on their flooding issues. They're getting them annually from high tides. So there we work on the issues that are most prevalent in the community, and then also to plan long-term for things that could be disturbing the quality of life of those residents.
Yeah, let me add, we have our new Office of Equity and Inclusion, and our director, Jason Smith, is in the house. Thank you, Jason. And we're looking inside county government to see that we're doing everything we can to lift up communities that may have been left behind. But we want to work with the private sector and municipalities and everyone to do that as well. So that's part of how business can work with us to get it right. Tony, you want to remind folks here online?
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you are tuning in online, you can join the conversation by posting your question on Facebook or Twitter. Just be sure to hashtag Thrive305, no space, hashtag Thrive305 if you're following on social media so that we can plug you in. We've got Michelle Shirley coming to the microphone with her question. Thank you.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning. Great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all that you do. I wanted to say, as you know, I run a nonprofit, Be Strong International. With so many nonprofits in the county and with your experience of running a nonprofit yourself, I see that there's a disconnect with the services and there's no real collective impact model around health and wellness and reaching young people and families. We've been an essential service during this time, especially food drives, giving out masks, so many things that corporations really couldn't do without nonprofits being on the ground. And so I'm interested in hearing more about how you plan to maybe create like a nonprofit council that's not a funded entity, but more so of a group of leaders that work strategically to make sure that nonprofits are working just together and that we are sort of strategically moving the needle along as well as with what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and thank you for Be Strong. You are strong. So I'm really proud as well that we have an Office of Engagement now in the Mayor's office. Patrick Morris is our Director of Civic and Philanthropic Partnerships. Pat's been doing this work for a long time. And we also have Michelle Johnson, who's working directly with nonprofits and the faith community, and many other great members of the team. So please, let's make sure to connect you, because we do have in mind to create collaboration across the nonprofit sector and the business community to do exactly the things that you're saying. Yep.
For those of you in the live audience, make sure, again, that you come up to the mic, speak clearly, nice and loud so they can hear you on social media where we're streaming, and make sure your voice is heard. This question is from Marie Sanin-Cannell. During the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been an increase in U.S. unemployment, increase in the rate of evictions and the number of citizens struggling to pay their rent. How do you plan to assist?
This has been really a burden on our souls as we've seen people struggle so much. The people who cannot afford to pay the rent, the landlords who cannot afford to pay their bills. Really, it's been a terrible escalating problem in our community and in our economy. We've been very fortunate to receive federal dollars through the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, and we're in the process of reviewing 2,000 cases in the month of March alone, and I'd like Michael Liu to come up and talk about that program.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Madam Mayor. It's good to see you all. The Emergency Rental Assistance Program 2.3 has been actively running now for about 6 weeks. We are prioritizing those cases that are involved in the RIT process, because certainly those families potentially are at the greatest risk of being essentially put on the street. If we can assist them, and if we have the cooperation of all of the parties, including the landlords, we will be able to help a significant number of them. In addition, of course, there are many, many families who are not involved in any type of eviction process, and we have had a process of accepting applications. We have accumulated over 16,000 cases that we are going to be working through over the next few weeks to attempt to assist those families in need as quickly as possible. We have about $60 million from the federal government, from the Consolidated Appropriations Act. We will probably get more dollars from the American Rescue Plan, which was passed recently, so hopefully we'll be able to help even more families. And again, we are trying to move as quickly as possible because we do have federal guidelines, deadlines. By September 30th, if we can spend 65%, at least 65% of our dollars, we may be in line to get even more money, again, to assist more families. But it's not an easy process. It may seem easy to give out money, but there are guidelines that have to be followed. We know that there is going to be audits afterwards by the federal government. They always do. And we want to make sure that we're not having to pay back to the federal government any dollars because of non-compliance. So we're working hard, and the mayor is one of the most compassionate leaders I've ever worked for. Let me tell you this. Other jurisdictions are not looking at cases dealing with writs of possession. She is. And it's because of her that we're trying to balance the needs of the community in a way that is fair and compassionate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. And let me also acknowledge again our wonderful police department that has unfortunately had the task when people really don't have the right to stay to humanely as possible move people along, and we've done it with the support of our homeless service providers. And here is Samaria Hudson to tell us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Get closer to the mic if you could. Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity. I do want to respond to the question. I know Director Liu talks about the funds available. I want to say we were one of the organizations that were recipients of those funds. $2.4 million worth of grant dollars have come to Chapman Partnership, and we are using those dollars. So far, we've been able to help over 150 households get housing because of those dollars. We have also been able to work very closely with landlords. So first of all, thank you, Mayor, for the supply of affordable housing that's coming down the line. But we've also been able to work with a lot of landlords. We got 107 landlords that have committed to placing high-risk residents into affordable housing. Talk about partnerships. So those are a lot of things that are certainly taking place now, but $2.4 million, we've already helped 150 households. We do expect to help more, and we will spend those dollars. So you bring them to us, we will work as quickly as possible to get people placed, but we are effectively using those dollars to help individuals in our community.
Tony Jennings Sheriff also wants to speak up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I wanted to make just a quick, I speak loud regardless. So I wanted to make just a quick comment, because a lot of what I'm hearing, is really should be at the root causes of what's causing people to lose their homes, not being able to afford their rent, and that's one of the reasons the Health Foundation of South Florida has moved to addressing the social and economic factor. So when there was this question about how do you create a more prosperous, thriving community, everybody here has a role. Housing, transportation, right? We have not talked about transit yet, jobs, economic development, all of us have a piece and a role to play to create that healthy, thriving community. I think programs, services, funding, rent relief, all of that is important, but at the end of the day, what we need to be focused on is how do we work on that prosperity for all vision that, Madam Mayor, you were so, into 25 years ago when you created Human Services Coalition, and then it became Catalyst. But I think we need to be thinking, in broader terms about how do we elevate people to be financially able to survive the next crisis, because we've talked about how many households in our county are one crisis away from that financial cliff, and this is it. This is what we have seen, and we need to ensure that they have the right foundation to be able to be economically and financially stable moving forward.
Very good.
Can I also just add one more comment? I think one of the ways that the mayor and her team is leading on that vision is through civic engagement and empowerment. And I really appreciate the involvement of Mr. Liu's department and the Office of the Mayor in the eviction task force that formed in the wake of the pandemic. And as a result of all of that conversation, we meet every single week with a number of community organizations, service providers, the Homeless Trust is present, and always someone from the county, at least multiple people from the county. And through that task force, I think we have been able to create a pretty impressive degree of coordination of services, delivery of the rental assistance program that is so critical to people's health and safety, as well as planning for the future and thinking, how do we do, if it does come to pass that we have another rental assistance program, we have another chance to help people with that resource, then how do we make it even better? And I think that's been a wonderful experience for so many people in the community as a result.
Thank you. Thank you, Annie.
If I may, I just want to make sure that we understand a couple things. I think many of us do, but sometimes it gets lost in the journey. To make this happen, we have to work together. We can see this and we have to listen. And so I'm hoping that in that process, we're able to network among each other. I've seen this community work best when people know each other and work together, and they're able to work through their differences, because there will be differences. It's going to happen. It's the way it is. And I think that as you have multiple priorities, you're basically trying to balance those things at the same time, and they actually aren't competing challenges, they are complementary challenges. I've heard transit come up a couple of times, so I'd love to hear Shan and Frank, comment on the transportation piece, because you talked about it, how important it is, and we've got so many positive things happening. So if I could have those gentlemen kind of comment on that, that would be great.
Hello. Oh, hey. Hi, I'm Sean Patel, Transit Alliance. In looking at the survey results, I think there's two main takeaways I would take away on the transit portion. The first is that, evenly across all demographics, age, race, income, people care about transit at about the same level. And I think it's one of the few issues where that happens, actually, where across a broad spectrum of the county, people want better public transit. And when you look at the priorities they choose, it's basically service, service, and service. I mean, those are the top three priorities: service where I need to go, service where I want to go, and more reliable service, basically. It's not rocket science how to solve transit. You need to provide more service where people want it, and they will come. Mayor Cava is a choice rider, which means that she has a car, but when she can, she takes the bus, so she takes the metro rail. More of us, I think, if we had access to that, would take it as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, transit is an intersectional issue here. People choosing or able to not have a car saves them $5,000 to $10,000 a year. It brings down the large percentage of people who live in this county that are cost burden, and would help them, if they had a major emergency, like a medical emergency or something like that, be able to survive it and keep their home. So the intersectionality of all these issues is important, and transit, if done well and blanket the community, with reliable service that people can use to get to whatever job they want to go to, can help get people get through crises and make less cost burden residents and just make our county better to live in.
Excellent. Good. All right.
Would you like to add anything?
No, let's go on with the social
Keep it
media
moving.
question.
All right, so here's a social media question.
Thank you.
And I think it's a good moment to do it. The next question is coming from a Twitter, Crime Stopper 305, a program that involves the public, the media, and law enforcement in the fight against crime. So the question is, we want to help. This organization wants to help like many others. We want to help Miami-Dade County be safe and a happy place to live. How can we help?
Right. Well, I love this question, like I like all questions, love all questions, because everybody can help make Miami-Dade safer. Certainly we can all learn to be more vigilant for our personal safety and train ourselves in awareness, but we also can help young people have alternatives. We can all volunteer or become part of programs that help give young people a path. We know, idle hands are not what we need, especially in the pandemic. And we have seen an uptick in violent crimes during this time when so many of our usual activities have been suspended. So this is the time to really get creative about reaching out. Also, beautification. We said before, we need to keep our neighborhoods looking robust and thriving. We need to have partnerships with our law enforcement so that we can focus on prevention and not just intervention. One of my favorite programs is Kindergarten Cops. They start with the kids in kindergarten, they become little junior officers helping with safety and crossing and all of that, and it builds relationships where we recognize that law enforcement is there in partnership to help. As far as when you see a crime, see something, say something, we cannot emphasize that enough. And actually, I wonder if our chief would like to say a word about how people can participate in reducing crime. Thank you, Chief. He's tall. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Mayor, on behalf of Miami-Dade Police Department for first of all, being so supportive and embracing of law enforcement in our community and inviting us to this wonderful forum and the Thrive 305, which has really been so excellent, in terms of granular information and how it is that we can further our partnership with our community. That's so important. So several ways, just like you said, Madam Mayor, our Crime Stoppers is so vitally important to solving crimes and bringing justice and peace to surviving families and also justice for those unfortunate victims. One of the great things that we have in terms of Miami-Dade Police Department is our Community Affairs Bureau. And that is so vitally important because we are, as the police department, so uniquely positioned in our community to see the needs of the community. We see them firsthand. Our officers, our men and women who proudly wear this uniform, work in the community, they're from the community, and they're uniquely positioned to go to calls for service and see exactly what the needs are, who's at risk, how it is that we can partner with them. And our social media is another way that we really have begun to really effectively communicate and partner with our community. Our Coffee with Our Cops, right? That was a wonderful opportunities, but one of the biggest issues with that is that it doesn't marry that well with our kindergarten with a cop. Why? Because those who are coming to our Coffee with Our Cops were people that were interested, many like us in this room, on our digital footprint here, that want to work and want to do so many great things for the community. But how do we message that segment of the community that's not connecting with government? And that's what's so vitally important about the Thrive 305 initiative and our ability to communicate through social media. And our biggest ask is that we really leverage social media by inviting our community that are following our channels right now, either on Twitter or Nextdoor, which is really granular in our particular communities. When you see our information and our wonderful social media posts of how it is and what is occurring in our particular communities, become an influencer in the community, but engage others to become those community influencers as well. And that truly is a force multiplier for us on how it is that we can really get the message, how it is we can really communicate what's going on our activities for our Community Affairs Bureau, all the wonderful partnerships that we have in our police department, so that now we can actually bring others that typically don't follow government actually become more engaged and more civically engaged in our community. So
Thank you so much, Chief. And we have another chief with us I want to invite to step up. That's Chief Morris Copeland, who runs our community services programs. Oh, it looks like they're going to clean the mic for you, so give it a second. But we've integrated all the social service programs in the county in Chief Copeland's portfolio for particular purpose. So tell us, Chief.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, wonderful guest, Eddie Lord and the crew. It's wonderful to see everyone here. I think that we have to be very, as the mayor said, very deliberate in our approach. I have to say that majority of our young people and the communities that we know are plagued by violence are very good people. They're hardworking. They're good students. They want the best for their community. And there's a small group of individuals that are causing the most pain. And the problem is that people are afraid to speak up and say something. And we have to give them the courage to do so. We have to give them the support to let them know that we have to take back our community from that small group of individuals that plague us. Now, they didn't get like that overnight. This was a process. They didn't come out the womb toting AK-47s. This was a process. And so as the mayor spoke about integrating our social services, making sure that we work and connect with young people, particularly those that are at highest risk from the womb to career. So we cannot miss anywhere along that spectrum, because when we do that, then we allow those individuals to be picked off by the individuals that want to use them in their criminal enterprises. So none of these young people want to kill each other. None of these young people want to be a part of this insane practice of murder, indiscriminate murder. They have been pulled into this, they have been coerced into this, and it's our job to give them an alternative. You can tell them all day to stop, but if you don't give them something else to believe in and something else to connect with, you're wasting your time.
Absolutely.
So in this day and age, we have to be more deliberate, and I thank the mayor for her background in social work and understanding the complexities of this situation. And as you stated, all of this stuff fits together. A good place to live, a good school to go to, a family that loves you, extended family, members in the community that can help you when things aren't going right. All of those things have to be taken into consideration. And I tell you first and foremost, and I said this about 10 years ago, we could cut this process and mitigate this in half if we focus on those young people that have contact with law enforcement that come through our system. We cannot let them go. Once they hit our door, we cannot let them go. I want you to remember that. We cannot let them go. We have to stick with them. We have to talk to them, even when they don't want to talk to us. Because we have to make them understand that the other option is, it's not acceptable, because it's only death and destruction. Because what happens is, there's not only one family that's destroyed. There's not only two families that are destroyed. It's a community that's terrorized.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Let's give it up for our Chief of Public Services, Morris Copeland, who's bringing the no wrong door approach to county government.
Mayor.
Absolutely.
I really want to offer just another comment in addition to what the two chiefs said. So a lot of you know me, and prior to coming to Miami 4 years ago, I was in Michigan. And during the time that I worked for Michigan's governor, the state of Michigan had 4 cities that were in the top 10 in violent crime in the United States. And so the question was, what could we do that would solve for this crime and violence? And after looking at and putting in place a lot of public safety initiatives that had a pretty good effect, at the end of the day, it turned out that jobs, not just a job, but a living wage job, was the most significant thing that we could do to impact crime and violence.
All right.
And we literally launched a program that was all about helping individuals who were returning citizens, single female heads of households, disabled and others, once we figured out how to help them get access to living wage jobs, we saw a marked decrease in crime. For example, of those people who got jobs, only about 7% recidivated, in other words, committed new crimes. For those who couldn't get jobs that were returning citizens, the recidivism rate was over 30%, right? So we figured it was about jobs, or safe communities is based on good jobs, and I think that's a key part of what we have to get done here in this community. So I put that out there. Living wage jobs, not just a job, but a living wage job.
Great, thank you. And we have our mental health expert in the House, none other than the wonderful Judge Steve Leifman. Thank you so much, Judge, for everything you've done.
Appreciate it. And thank you all, and the comments have been phenomenal, and thank you for everything that you're doing. And it's just so nice to have a mayor that understands these issues at a very deep level. We know much more about the people who are in jail today than we ever have done before. Most of them have mental health and substance use disorders. And what we know is that most of these kids suffer from a lot of trauma. 92% of all the women in jail and prisons in the United States with serious mental illnesses have very horrible histories of trauma, mostly sexual abuse as children. 75% of men who are in jails and prisons with serious mental illnesses also suffer from horrible histories of trauma, sexual abuse, domestic violence, or witnesses to these violent crimes that we're talking about. What happens to a child who witnesses or sees or receives this type of trauma, it's physiological. They get overdosed with cortisone and their brain breaks. And what happens is we wait. So instead of identifying these kids at an early age and helping them, we wait for them to grow up into our criminal justice system. And so we have to stop waiting. There is an assessment tool called ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experience Assessment. We should be giving it to every child in middle school in Dade County. I don't know why we're waiting for them to have their brains damaged, have a substance use disorder, a mental health disorder, and getting arrested. And I think collectively, with the great brain power in this room and working with the school system, we can identify kids earlier, keep them from coming into our systems, helping them then get jobs, and being productive members of our society.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Now, I'm going to be asking Karen Herrera to come to the mic. She had a question. But while we do that, I would like to challenge our panel here, before we're done, to be prepared to make some statements on solutions that you're continuing to be excited about. Okay, some solutions.
Short solutions.
Short. All right, because we've got a lot to share. And just real quick, too, before I want to go back to what Brother Copeland said, because you said the options are so important for a young person before they get into crime. And I think that if we are all honest, many of us have been at that point where we've had to decide, are we going to go this way or are we going to go that way? And in my case, I had an option. But I see too many young people that I mentor today that think that they don't have an option when they really do. So I want to really go back to the chief over there. Congratulations for having your finger on the pulse to know that. Appreciate that.
All right.
Karen.
Hi, good morning, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. I am so honored to be here. I am a senior graduating now this fall from the University of Pennsylvania. So a proud product of Miami-Dade County Public Schools and made it to the Ivy League. So that's awesome. Really happy to be here and passionate about engaging with the community. And to the mayor's point, I think it starts early. I know I've read Miami Herald articles about brain drain, and I think it's really important for people my age to also invest in the community. To that point, one thing I struggled with throughout my time in public school here in our community was public transportation. And I know I've been following Transit Alliance. I know the Better Bus project is underway. But I'm wondering, will the Metro Rail be expanded, and also are there plans underway? Because we have magnet schools of choice, but if you don't have a way to get to the school of choice, then you don't really have a choice. So that's one thing I'm wondering. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen. That's great. And congratulations to you. We're all proud. And we want you to come back and make your future here.
So I'm starting as a consultant at Boston Consulting Group in the Miami office, so I am coming back.
That is wonderful. So we had a half penny that was supposed to fund a lot of things, and somewhere along the line, it didn't quite go that way. So rather than revisiting history, let me tell you that we do now have a plan, an aggressive plan called the SMART Plan, with corridors that are being designed and are moving forward. So it takes much longer than we'd like, but we are going to have something on that Northeast corridor. Brightline is coming along with stops. We're going to have an east-west corridor, we think, bus rapid transit. It's been selected and hopefully moving forward. The South Dade Transitway is opening. We're going to do groundbreaking for bus rapid transit any day now. I don't know what's holding it up, but we're ready. And within about a couple of years, we'll have a really superior service there. And we're working on the beach corridor and the north corridor as well. But those are the main corridors, but we also have to get people safely to those corridors, so last mile options. And there's a lot of progress been made. I know we have a couple of our transit people. Do we have time for a really short update on any of these other innovations? How about it, Tony?
I think we should.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, you want to go over here, Frank? Just, give us the highlights, Frank. Frank Guyamir is Deputy Director, Department of Transportation and Public Works.
Good morning. So right now we have like the mayor was saying, we have the North Corridor is under our cone, under somewhat of a procurement. We have three or four shortlisted firms. Each one has different technologies. And the goal is ultimately to connect to some of these, along 27th Avenue to the north end. Out of all these corridors, I think the thing we want to keep in mind is the SMART Plan is like a web. It's going to grow. It's the same format that was used in the West Coast, whether it was, I think San Diego used it. And you use the east-west, and we grow it. Each one and each line grows, and as they get built, we expand on this web to eventually have a full comprehensive system. Once you're done with this mass transit, they tie into what Transit Alliance is doing also, which is optimizing our routes so that we end up with whatever bus fleet we have, not have a disparity where a few of our buses are carrying 80% and then the rest of our fleet is carrying not a lot of people. Now you reevaluate your bus fleets and say, okay, let's make it so that everybody gets more frequency in bus service. So in a quick nutshell, I mean, I can talk for hours about this, but that's what I can tell you.
I think that was a great summary, Frank. And let me mention, too, that we're about to increase capacity on buses. It has been in the COVID era where we've wanted to space people out a lot. It has meant that people have been left behind sometimes, and the buses don't always come that frequently. So we do need to have more reliable, so we're within still social distance and safety precautions on the vehicles. We are going to be increasing capacity. Oh, Transit Alliance.
Sorry, one more thing. Yeah, and I think it's important to note that, Transit Alliance position is that, whatever we can build now or faster or sooner, we want to build, It doesn't matter, what color the cat is, as long as we can get to your location. We want people to have a choice. We want them to have fast and reliable choice. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter, if it rolls on wheels or if it's in the air. And what's good about that is if we get a better service on a corridor and the ridership goes up, then we can take that data to the federal government and say, hey, look, this is a successful corridor. Let's build something more.
That's right.
It's all about taking steps so that we're not, revisiting the SMART Plan another 30 years from now and saying, well, why haven't we built it yet? It's about taking the low-hanging fruit and doing it now so that in the future we have a chance to do more.
And we're all counting on Secretary Pete to get us the money. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to go to the lightning round. We're coming down the home stretch, so we want to make sure that in the lightning round, like you guys know what that means, you ask the question quickly and you answer the question quickly. Keep it in mind throughout the week that there will be more activities, engagement activities, and so continue this dialogue. Be sure to push it out. But the lightning round, we're going to move through quickly because we're coming down the home stretch. I'd also like to take a moment to ask Alexandra Ceballos to come to the mic and Franley DeFili to come to the mic so you can ask your questions live. And as they do this, I'd like to ask a question that came here that I thought was particularly interesting. A couple real quick. Mayor, how do we capitalize on the fact that a whopping 65% of our residents are actually interested in participating in the budget process? Okay, that's impressive.
Right.
Before being elected, you have seen or participated in a budget process where the public had a real hand in shaping the budget? Did that happen before, or what do we do here?
Yeah, so this 65%, is just causing me joy. I have to say, it's like pure vindication. Yes, people do want to be involved. Yes, people do care about those wonky things like the county budget, because the budget is our most important policy document. It really says what we prioritize and how we're going to spend our money. And I'd like to invite up our budget director, David Clodfelter, also to say a few words about it, because he is actually leading the process for public engagement. But let me say, yes, I am aware of participatory budget processes all over the world. And we need to find a way to incorporate more direct involvement of the public. Unfortunately, our budget has a lot of predetermined expenses, and the pot that's flexible and discretionary is much smaller, but that does not mean that we cannot find ways, just like we've done with this survey, to get clear indications from the public what really matters. So thank you, Director Clodfelter. What's going on?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you mentioned, in this year, we already added a few town hall meetings that appeared to be very successful. We received a lot of feedback. We're using that information to incorporate into the proposed budget that we're going to be presenting you. The most fiscally responsible and resilient way, but it was successful so far. We're going to continue the outreach through the process and have additional meetings, as we spoke about. And not everybody thinks the budget is as sexy as I do, but we're getting there. Thank you.
Well, and let me just say, this is the first time it's ever been done that we started this early in the process. So we had public meetings in February, March, and usually it doesn't start until August, let's say. So, and the budget is finally approved in September. So getting earlier input is really more meaningful. So thank you for what you've done.
Perfect. All right, so we have two people on the mic, but I do want to say a couple of things that I thought was amazing. Okay, we've been in survive mode, and we've seen that before, Mayor. Going all the way back when we had that rash of crimes on tourists, we came through that. We had the Hurricane Andrew. We came through that. 9/11, the setback, the bailout. We are resilient as they get. And I don't think anyone has seen the kind of things that we've seen on a year-end basis. I remember that year, a couple of years ago, we had like 4 hurricanes in a row, back to back to back. So we are resilient, and I'm really excited about it. All the talent is here. So it's not survive 305. Now we're moving past that. We're talking about actually thriving, and I like that. That's really awesome.
And it's not recovery 305, it's renew 305, because we are going to be bigger and better with our new economy too.
It's a beautiful thing. Okay, Ms. Sebelios.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alexandra Ceballos. I'm a District 7 Youth Commissioner, and it's such a pleasure to be here. And like everyone has mentioned, there are so many opportunities for the youth here in Miami, and the Youth Commission is just one of them. And coincidentally, our application cycle is still going on, so I welcome any of the youth watching today to join and apply, because it is truly such a great opportunity for everyone to be a part of the community and really participate in what 305 really means. And my question, thank you. My question for the mayor and for all of the panelists is, how much of a concern is sustainability in all of the aspects of Thrive 305? Because I'm sure it applies to really all of the positions that are open and kind of, they're all involved, and I would like to know how you in particular are trying to incorporate that, as the community is also, I'm sure, very interested in.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your leadership and for your advocacy. And as Tony said, we are a very resilient community. We have survived many shocks and stressors, as Jim Murley, our Chief Resilience Officer, said. But truly, we have to learn from that and prepare for a future. We know that we are facing the impacts of climate change, of sea level rise, of more diseases, of dislocations of people. And even most recently, we've been focusing on heat as a critical feature. And I'm not going to tell you some big news about that, but I will tell you that we're focusing on heat as a major contributor. But it affects not just our environment, it affects our building, our transportation, our health, all the different features, as you've said. And that's why we have the Resilient 305 program with a very robust set of goals that we're doubling down on. Also, we are rolling out our climate change agenda. We did our sea level rise strategy about a month or so ago, and we have to actualize all of those plans to truly be more resilient in the future. And I'd like to ask if Yoka wants to say a few words, because Cleo has been at the forefront of educating the community, especially young people, to be involved.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And thank you so much for representing youth voices around Miami-Dade County. As the mayor said, the Clio Institute has been working on building climate and environmental literacy for more than a decade here in Miami-Dade County. And we focus a lot on the youth movement because we understand that this is the future that you're all gonna inherit. So at the forefront, and really the purpose of our programming is building that engagement piece, that advocacy piece, because we always said, everybody has superpowers, the powers of your voices, the power of your vote, and the power of your purse to really make change. So while we work from the bottom up and from the top down, all our programs are looking to really build the kind of engagement we need to put the policies in place for a more sustainable, just, and equitable future. And I encourage you to get involved with the Clio Institute. We actually have great programming in Miami-Dade County schools at the moment. A lot of our programs are focused on Title I schools, and some of our programs are also gender-based, empowering women in our most vulnerable communities, more marginalized communities that are facing and are on the front lines of many of the crises, because as we have heard today, everything is interrelated. We have equity and social justice issues that are interrelated with housing issues, with climate justice issues, that are also facing economic crises. So our solutions need to be looked at really holistically, interrelated, and in collaborative mode. So I'm excited to see what this alliance and all the partners that are here today we can do to ensure a more just, sustainable future for all of you. So thank you so much for everything you do, and please reach out to us. We'd love to partner.
Thank you. And I think I can speak on behalf of the whole Youth Commission in saying that we would love to continue to work with Thrive 305 and with all of you to continue to allow our youth voices to be heard. And that is such an honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's hosted by our county, the Youth Commission, and it's awesome with representatives from each of the 13 districts. Thank you so much.
Okay, I've seen my 10-minute warning, so we are going to try to keep pace. I want to make sure that I give our panelists here an opportunity to do what we mentioned earlier about that quick close. I'm guessing this is Marie?
Yes.
Dr. Marie Lindor.
Dr. Marie Lindor Tortu.
Bonjour tout le monde. Moi, je Dr. Marie-Flore Lindor la Tortue. Moi, campé là, je parle en créole. Madame magistrat, Cava. Communauté haïtienne, pendant 29 ans, changé. Yo pas arrêté seulement Little Haiti, notre Miami Beach, Southwest, à l'enfant Southwest. Magistrat Cava, qui ça a fait pour mettre tout groupe haïtien ça yo pour résultat dans nord, même genre un résultat dans sud. I'm Dr. Flore Lindor La Tortue. I stand here on behalf of the Haitian community. Madam Mayor, panelists, the Haitian community has evolved throughout the years, and it's not a community that only resides in Little Haiti, not Miami Beach. We are also in South Dade and Deep South. What is Strive 305 measurable strategy for the result to even out? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Marie Lindor-Tortu and I know each other a long time, and there is no better advocate for the community. Thank you for what you do. And let me say that we have more details on Monday through Thursday about the breakout of the different communities, and we know that the Haitian community is a real treasure for us here in Miami-Dade. We have the largest percentage of Haitian Americans in the country. It brings great honor to our community to have the contributions to our culture and hard work, and we need to make sure to be very deliberate about creating economic opportunities, healthcare access, housing, all of the things that obviously the community particularly strives for. And you have my commitment to do that. We have created a spokesperson for the Haitian community in the mayor's office, Cassandra Arnold, and she is helping us along with others on my team, including Travon Pierre, who's with us here today, to make sure that we have very robust outreach and engagement. Thank you.
Silently, quietly, effectively, over the last 30 years, our Haitian community has turned into one of the greatest success stories in the history of this country. It is a piece of history that if we don't record ourselves, will be lost somewhere with Julia Tuttle. We can't have that. The Haitian community's conviction and building in this community is pretty much equivalent to what the Asian community did for San Francisco. It was all positive. And it's no longer Little Haiti, but now we're talking North Miami Beach, and all into Broward, and we're talking about people who are representing us in government, on judicial, and professional sports, and media, and entertainment.
Commissioner Jean Monestine on the county commission.
Absolutely.
Representative Dottie Joseph in the state legislature.
Absolutely.
Many judges. Yes, we're doing.
So we've done something, and our ability to embrace and the residual impact and resiliency of our Haitian community should be recognized. We cannot overlook that. Just want to say that. Okay, so we have time for 2 more questions. And so if you're moving your way up to the mic, by all means do that. I see someone coming. As she comes, one of the questions here is a young lady, Miss Daniels. With the housing boom, how can we, and with gentrification comes a housing boom, so they're saying, how can we keep pace and ensure that current residents can remain in their homes or purchase themselves? Did they already?
Liberty City and other places. Gentrification is definitely one of those dilemmas that comes with economic development, and we cannot allow these communities to develop and leave out those who've been there before. We must protect the heritage of our communities, and we must preserve the diversity of our economy and our residents. I mean, it's definitely shooting ourselves in the foot if we do not make sure to be very deliberate. I was very happy as a county commissioner to pass legislation to require that community redevelopment agencies would fight gentrification, basically, that if they were building, they had to build economically diverse, they had to preserve at least the housing that was affordable, they had to hire locally, and so on. And we need to do much, much more. And for that reason, again, we have the Office of Equity and Inclusion. We also are going to be bringing on someone to focus on community economic development within my office so that we can be sure that when we develop smart. People talk about climate gentrification. That's a particular challenge here as we look at areas that are more vulnerable to flooding and sea level rise, and we need to be super, super careful and diligent to not allow those communities to displace those who've been there before. So thank you for the question.
And thank you for, this is not new for you. You've been doing this long before you were elected as our mayor.
I've been doing this since I was a young lady on the streets of New York City in my 20s. Yes, and now I'm 65.
Mayor, you get one of these.
Thank you.
All right, so you have a comment.
All right.
Just super quick, 3 things: community land trusts, land banks, and neighborhood investment trusts, are three things that come to mind that
Very
have
good.
been put at the forefront in this community by leaders, and I think will help with that.
And community
Affordable
land
housing
trusts are now part of our priorities for housing and the others as well. Thank you so much, James.
So this is how we're going to wrap up. We're
We
going
have
to
a
take
young
this
lady
question.
staying here. Yes, yes.
We'll have our very quick comments from you all and closing comments from our mayor.
Okay.
And we will take it home from there. Say your name, speak nice and loud into the microphone, and your question.
Hello, my name is Margaret McCaffrey. I am the president of Seroptimus International. We're celebrating our 100 years. We started in 1921, 100 years with suffragettes. So we're very happy to be here. Because you are preparing for your 5-week themes, my question here is, will you be able to keep always the gender perspective in all your themes? There are so many female-headed households in Miami, and unless we work on making women having programs that will enable opportunities for them, there won't be any real change at the local level. Thank you.
Good
Thank
question.
you, Margaret.
Really good question.
So Margaret is an activist, as you can see, and I've known for many years.
I was one of the catalysts to graduates from the program. Many years
Okay,
ago.
let's hear it for Catalyst Miami. My baby. Thank you, Margaret. So I am, of course, the first woman mayor of Miami-Dade County, and I take that honor very, very seriously as a mandate to continue to lift up women everywhere. And we do have our reports from the county that are done with FIU on the status of women every year, and we have a commitment to make sure also through equity and inclusion that women who are more often heads of single households, as was said, and unfortunately misrepresented with higher rates of poverty, and also raising the most, taking care of the children. So these households that suffer, and that when the women lose income or have less income, that carries all the way through retirement. And now we have what's been called a she-cession instead of a recession coming out of this pandemic because of the number of women who have left the workplace, paid workplace, to be at home taking care of children and other dependents. And we must deliberately reverse those trends, and we must lift up women into positions of leadership. Not only to say, you know, it's going to be the year of the women until we get it right. So let's work together to lift up women so that they can bring all our special talents and skills to the table. Thank you, Margaret.
All right. So we're going to have our closing comments from our panel, but I think just adding my 2 cents worth, if you are a man in the audience, and this goes for women too, but I'm specifically talking to the guys, then you have to ask yourself, leaders, men, how many women have I mentored and moved into a high position? How many women have I prepared for my position if I leave? Yeah, y'all chew on that. So on that note, let's go ahead and move for our closing comments from my left to right, and then we'll have our closing comments from our mayor. Please.
All right, so if I remember correctly, solutions we're most excited about. I think I mentioned 3 of them as it relates to affordable housing, but I want to probably focus not on the solutions themselves, but what I'm most excited about is how we're beginning to work together. I think the best solutions are going to come with cross-sector thinking and cross-sector collaboration. I know the lady earlier mentioned collective impact and that she has not seen that too much in the nonprofit ecosystem. I think it's upon us, especially funders, to make sure that we're bringing our nonprofit ecosystem, businesses and others together. I mean, just a few years ago, I would have never worked with Beacon Council or in the affordable housing space. So my main message is that we need to work together. I know that's already been said, but I do think this cross-sector collaboration is key, and that we're not working for the community, we're working with the community, which ties back to, you know, the whole concept of civic engagement and Thrive 305. And I think that's upon us to make sure that that continues to happen.
Excellent.
Mr. Patel. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. I'm hopeful for our partnership with Mayor Cava. The letter she signed recently with Transit Alliance, you can find on our website, and her priorities that she's committed to this year, such as dedicated bus lanes, reforming the department, and just working to make better, quicker decisions for transit riders in Miami-Dade County.
Well, you made it easy. You called it the Cava plan.
Very good at branding at Transit Alliance.
Very good.
Annie.
Wonderful. In the framework, we highlighted 4 immediate priorities to address the affordable housing crisis at the scale that we have it, and it spells PALM. So you mentioned preservation. We have to preserve the housing that we have. We've made very wonderful progress on that so far. We have to assist renters. We need to use publicly owned land more strategically. And yes, we are going to need money, the right kind of money, the public money.
Right.
It's long-term money.
All right,
so,
you
PALM.
heard it, the PALM plan.
Thank you, Annie. Yoka.
Well, I think I want to say a few things, but to begin with, one of the solutions that I'm more excited about is closing the gender gap. And closing the gender gap has been identified as to one of the best solutions to address the climate crisis, if you don't believe that. And that was one of the reasons we have a program called the Empower and Resilient Program, because when we invest in women, our communities thrive.
Yes.
In so many levels. So that's number one. And number two, I think we didn't talk enough about the environment and about parks and open places, but we heard clearly amongst all income levels and all age levels that everybody is very concerned about our natural environment and the eco benefits that they provide us, whether it's our drinking water or whether it's our air quality, everybody's really concerned. And I think, again, talking about that intersectionality, looking at a holistic approach of how to really catalyze our economy needs to be looked at with a climate and environment lens, because we need the environment to sustain us. The environment is the economy. And we can do that in a more just, equitable, and sustainable way. So focusing on clean energy solutions, focusing on empowering our youth generation, giving them the training and resources they need to get ready for the green and clean energy economy it's going to prove very successful for the Sunshine State. And last but not least, building climate resilience is something that we will all need to thrive in a future, more warming world. So I'm looking forward to continue working with the Office of Resilience and Madam Mayor, and looking forward to make Miami-Dade County one of the most resilient places in the world. So thank you so much.
Perfect. Susan.
Fully 20% of the 27,000 responses from Thrive 305 were small business owners. And in this survey, it was defined as micro businesses, these businesses that have 10 or less employees. When you think about the importance, they're really the heartbeat of our entire community. Miami-Dade is constantly ranked in the top 3 of small business formation and micro business ownership in the country. And so when these companies are affected, you're not just affecting one household. As many of you know, many of you may actually be small business owners yourself, you pay yourself last. You're taking care of your employees, you're taking out personal loans, you don't go look for venture capital, you're going to the banks, right? And they're also the ones who are most likely to support other small businesses. As suppliers, you're going to their restaurants, that's where we're picking up our takeout food so we don't have to cook it. All of those people are the heartbeat of community. So I think your comment earlier about the interdisciplinary nature of revitalization and strengthening our communities, it comes from jobs. It comes from having a sense of community and making sure that people feel safe. And the mental health of entrepreneurs is a major, major problem, especially because they're not just carrying their own families, they're making sure that they're helping all of these other families and continuing to be that support system in the community, because that becomes their identity. So with Thrive 305, I think we have such an incredible opportunity to make sure this conversation stays as focused on the interdisciplinary nature as possible, and not just for-profit businesses, it really comes back to nonprofits as well. So I'm really looking forward to supporting all of this and really thinking through how we can help our small business owners continue to create the safety and the jobs that are needed in the community so that the economy can thrive. Thank you.
Michael.
Well, Susan offered a perfect introduction for the solution that I want to offer to small businesses. We're in the process of launching Miami-Dade County's Small Business Accelerator. It's being done in partnership with the Rockefeller Foundation, Bank of America, and several other organizations. But the idea is to help small businesses that struggle with access to capital and access to customers and all kinds of other technical assistance. We're going to deliver that to these small businesses. Our immediate opportunity will be for about 100 companies. We're going to be doing it on a pilot basis, but if it works, there's a huge opportunity to scale up. So we're going to be inviting women-owned businesses, Black-owned businesses, Latinx-owned businesses as a priority to take advantage of a very deep set of resources to help those businesses thrive and scale. So we are in the business of trying to deliver solutions, and in this case, a solution for our small businesses in Miami-Dade County.
All right.
Okay, so before we turn it over to the mayor, I'll just leave a couple of food for thought, if we may, and that is simply this. Hollywood made the world believe that they were the center of the movie universe before they were the center of the movie universe. They were hiding from Edison so they wouldn't get hit with his taxes in New York. Okay, it was an orange grove. The Silicon Valley made the world believe that they were the center of technology when they may have only had 2 or 3 companies. Because they made the world believe that they were what they said they were, others came, believing in that hope and that vision that we see today. My partner and I sat at a table with the late, great Jay Molina. How many of you know who that is? Raise your hand. Okay, just a few of us. If you've heard of one community, one goal, it came out of this man's head. And we listened to him talk about it and ask us to be a part of it almost 30 years ago because he felt like we had to make the world know who we are. We are who we say we are, but more importantly, we are what we do. And everyone in this room, every one of you, are in a position because you are getting the job done. Now we have to take this and move forward and thrive. Mayor?
All right. Thank you, Tony. What a great conversation this has been. And you all have been very, very patient. This has been a great morning. So first of all, thanks to all of you for sticking with us. And to the viewing audience, I have a favorite phrase, nothing about me without me. It comes out of the disability rights movement, nothing about me without me. And how smart is that? We need everybody at the table. We need their voices. We need their hopes. We need their ideas. We need their commitment. We need them to be stakeholders. And that's what we're doing. We're creating an ownership society. People want to be part. It's so encouraging. And we are going to make sure that everybody truly is a part of the shaping of this great community for decades to come. So I'm thrilled that we've launched Civic Week today. Can't wait for the conversations Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings, 6 o'clock on those great topics. And we have an extra treat for you. You could go take a little break and then tune in at 3 o'clock virtually for your Civics 305 workshop with Engage Miami. So you want to know how it works? I want to know how it works. I'm going to be tuning in. So we'll see you. Stay tuned. Nothing about me, without you, without all of us. And thank you so very much once again to everybody.
All right.
Okay.
Distance high five.
Yeah, I'm going to get my mask on.
Mine.